Hi folks, exeter-rider, thanks for joining me once again. Now, this week you join me down Sidmouth, which is a beautiful part of the world. It's very hard to imagine all those dinosaurs that walked along the Jurassic Coast, as it's called down here, all those years ago. But yeah, a real rugged, beautiful place. But speaking of beautiful, this week is my first ride video of the Harley-Davidson Street Bob. Oh man, I've ridden this from Exeter, and it's just been such it's been a bike I've been looking forward to, since it's been put in the diary and they said they were going to deliver it. I just couldn't wait to see this thing. Look at it. I mean, where do I start? So let's just walk around the bike and talk about it a bit, and then we'll take it out for a ride, and at some point I will be doing a full review of this bike, okay? But for now we'll just keep it simple, and I'm just going to let you know how it feels to ride the bike and just talk about it. So okay, looks wise, so we got a massive front wheel on the front there, the beautiful V-twin engine, which is powder coated nicely. Again, looks really nice. Limited on the chrome, which is great. That's right up my street. I personally wouldn't want too much chrome on a bike, because it just takes too much to look after. Then we got the push rod housings that are chrome, and some of the fins on the actual engine block there as well, which just, looks great. Got the orange background there, and black powder coated, and then set off with the chrome. I mean, stunning, absolutely stunning. A twin exhaust coming out there, one for each pot, and big orange mudguard on the back there, which catches the dirt really well. I mean, obviously to clean this bike would be a bit fiddly, but they have done what they can by putting this big mudguard on the back, which is solid and metal. The Harley-Davidson logo there, and all this, which looks, again, it looks so nice and so nicely finished. In fact, the whole bike is nicely finished all the way through. It's a real stunning piece of kit. Now on the seat, it's again, it's very low. I'll let you know how low it is on the full review, but all the stitching is very nice. It's got a nice lumbar support on the back, which you need with these bikes, because the torque is, it's mega on these bikes. It's 114 cubic inches, which equates to around, I think it's 1868 cc. So it's a very, very powerful bike, and it's one that you have to be, a bit careful on the throttle with, because it does bite pretty quick. And you might think that something's missing on here. Just sit on the bike a second. Now what we got is, it's a keyless ride, and we got a little LCD screen there, which fires up like so. And basically you got a fuel gauge, a speedometer, and showing the revolutions per minute, or you can have trip A, trip B. So again, when you sit on this bike, it's so simple. There's no big clocks to look at or anything like that. It's actually really nice not having that, and just having the information that you need, and also a gear indicator in the top right hand corner once it's fired up. And down the bottom we've got the spoked wheels, single disc on the front, single disc on the back, which are fairly large. Again, with these type of bikes, normally you get the big wide tyres, but this Street Bob is actually quite a narrow tyre, which is a good thing, because it's just easy to chuck into the corners then. But just look at it. I mean, I've had this for probably 2 or 3 days now, and it's just been great to have in the garage. Just pop out to the garage every now and then and just look at it. It's just a beautiful, beautiful bike. But that's enough of that. Let's get my backpack on and we'll go for a ride. Nice throaty exhaust. Euro 5 of course, but it is very loud. I seem to have attracted a crowd down here as well. First of all, when you first ride this bike, first thing that it's just instantly comfortable. We've got a nice wide seat with the lumbar support. and the nice high bars as well. It's a very, very cool looking bike. I don't think you can get a cooler looking bike than this, to be honest with you, can you? Out of the Harley range, it's my own personal favourite, styling wise. But what's your thoughts on it? Let me know what your favourite bike is in the 114 range. I'd be interested in knowing. Just write them down in the comments. If you've got any questions on this bike, please do ask away. And what I'll do then is I'll make sure that I answer them while I've got the bike. Now, as with all Harleys, you've got a huge amount of power under your feet. I believe it's 155 Newton meters of torque on this bike, and all of it is very low down as well. So what you normally find with these Harleys is that you can change up pretty quickly and just sort of ride around between 2,000 and, well, even lower than that, probably 1,500 to 2,500 revs is where it's most comfortable. So just for example of this torque that we're using here, so there you go, second gear, we have priority here, third gear. It's a very clunky gearbox, but a very easy one to operate, and it does fall into place nicely, and even getting into neutral is never a problem on this bike. And I think of all the people that have bought Triumphs and you know, some of the other cruiser style bikes, and actually I feel that they've been missing out on riding these bikes, because Harleys are a real joy to just ride around and see the scenery like I am now. Just with all that torque, not changing up and down the gears all the time, just taking it steady. As you can tell, I am pretty smitten with this bike. I have ridden other Harleys. I've ridden the Livewire and the Fat Boy, which shares the same engine. Don't want to get my bike dirty. On the braking, a lot of people say that the front brakes aren't very good. They're not particularly sharp, but they're still good enough. And so is the rear brake as well. You know, if you need to come to a quick stop, then you're still going to give it a good yank and the ABS will cut in. So yeah, essentially I think they're actually, you know, I think they're pretty good brakes really. But like I say, they're not, you know, they're not particularly sharp at the same time, and not sports bike sharp, and it's not like they're twins. You've only got a single on the front. And for me, that's I'm okay with that. So to ride, it gives you a very similar feel, and obviously when I say this, they are very different bikes, and I think I said this in the Fat Boy test ride that I had as well, but they do give you that ambience and the zen that the Royal Enfields give you. Yes, of course they are utterly different, as I say, but you do get that feeling where it's just so pleasant to ride around on, taking the views and the smells and the scenery. Yeah, it's just great. But obviously with the Harley-Davidsons you do get the power and the huge amount of torque as well, and that's probably the main reason I would have or buy a Harley-Davidson, is for that reason. It's just such a pleasure to ride around on. Engine braking, as I knock down the gears, because it's a V-twin, we've got plenty there. This is a relatively steep hill going down here, and it does a great job of just taking us down the hill steadily as quick as we want to go. And going back to the gearing again, you know, the way that it is geared and ratioed, it's just perfect. It really is. It's lovely. In first gear it's a little bit high, if anything. You know, you do have to sort of feather the clutch quite a lot, but not as much as what I thought I would have to feather the clutch before I actually rode one. Look at all this here, look. Get my bike dirty. Yeah, I mean, when I used to look at Harleys and the big 114 or 107 engines at the time. I used to look at them and think, oh, they must be a real bind to ride, because all that power, and then they had this reputation of being a bit cumbersome and difficult to ride. I couldn't disagree more. Maybe they've moved on, I don't know, but I'm finding that this bike, you know, relatively easy to ride. I mean, I think, you know, even a beginner rider could ride this bike quite easily and corner it, and yeah, I really don't see a problem there. I also used to think that it'd be a right nightmare in town and trying to hold the power back, but again, it's not as bad as you would think. And I kind of feel like I've missed out all these years, really. It does get very steep in a minute, so we'll go up to 5th gear and into 6th gear, 44 miles an hour, 1600 RPM. So it's just going to start the incline now. It's very steep hill, this, and at the moment the bike is just handling it just lovely in 6th gear, really, really well. And this is where big engine and big capacity bikes do come into their own. It's when you can leave it in a gear and not feel like you have to stir the gearbox too much. It's going to get slightly steeper now. The GoPro isn't going to pick up how steep it is. So 6th gear, 39 miles per hour, still tickling the throttle, and it's still pulling. Look at that, look, 1500 RPM still, steep hill. The power is immense on these bikes, and again, it's nice that you can just sit back and not have to change gear all the time, and the engine does all the work for you, rather than clutching in down the gears all the time. But the things I like about the bike that I'm taking away on this first ride, first of all, is power. Secondly is the seat comfort and the comfort overall. And thirdly is just the riding experience. You can really tell that Harley engineered this bike to be a proper rider's bike. I know that some of my YouTube friends, Western Super Motor Vlog, he's a massive fan of the Harley, so I think he's ridden the live wire, but I don't think he's ridden much else. And I'm pretty sure that Saddlebag 73 would really enjoy this bike as well. I think this would be right up his street. Although he's a bit of a tall bugger, mind, he's 6 foot something, so but you know, I think whether you're a short rider or a tall rider, I think you should be okay on this one. I think they've catered for all heights on this bike. So, but anyway, I'm going to leave it here for now. I will be bringing you a full review and some other videos on this bike, some little surprise ones. So if you haven't subscribed, if you could subscribe, that would be great. Give it a good thumbs up as well, which would really help. Get the old analytics going. But yeah, I'll catch you next week. Thank you very much for watching, and here's what's coming up on this bike.